newsroom. You're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and we are brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online anytime and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Barry, it's time for We Pick 'em, and it's all about Big 12 football. You are doing in the Sunday paper and on News OK your annual summer rankings of all the Big 12 football games, so be sure to check that out Sunday. But here we're going to talk about our favorites. Barry, let's start with this one. OSU's best game. What is the Cowboys' top game this season?
I'm going to say it's when Baylor comes to Stillwater. You know, OSU Baylor have become two of the better programs in the conference, and what's interesting to me is the last four, I think, trips by Baylor to Oklahoma State, the Bears have brought a really good team, and the Cowboys have smoked them. Knocked Robert Griffin silly twice in a row on big blowouts. And then who can remember the game day night 2 years ago when Clint Shelf leads the rout of Baylor. So I think Cowboys will really be primed for Baylor. And that'll be a third week in November game, which I think is going to be huge. But I'm going to go with the game 2 weeks earlier against TCU. That's a November 7th game, and I have a feeling that that's going to be a matchup of two undefeated teams. I think OSU and TCU are going to get to that point and not have lost any games. So I'm going with that to be the game. And by the way, you mentioned the Baylor games at OSU. The TCU games at OSU have been OSU wins as well. Trayvon Boykin looked like a 9th or 10th best quarterback in the league when last we saw him in Stillwater. Obviously no longer that guy. It's going to be really interesting to see how TCU fares in Stillwater this year. All right, Barry, what about the best game on OU's slate this year? Well, the Sooners have a very disadvantaged schedule, but TCU does come to Norman. The Sooners have to go to Stillwater, have to go to Waco, have to play Texas and Dallas, have to go to Knoxville. But TCU, who I think will be the Big 12 favorite, they come to Owen Field. I think that's the Sooners' best chance for a big statement and for a national impact victory. I'm going to go with the Bedlam game. I know it's not in Norman this year, and it's the last game of the year, but I think OU, I'm skeptical OU's going to have a banner year, but I think OSU could be right at the top of the conference even by the end of November. So I think, and OU's had some great, not luck, but success at OSU in recent years. Obviously, that great team a couple years ago got the big Bedlam win behind Brandon Weeden and company. But I think OU could go to OSU, and I hate to use the word spoil, Barry, but I think they could score, sort of like OSU did a year ago, a big win to propel them into the bowl season and ruin things a little bit for the Cowboys. All right, Barry, what about this? Best home schedule. What Big 12 team has the best home schedule this year? Well, I think it's OSU. Yeah. In the even-numbered years, in this era at least, Cowboys get all their tough games at home. So TCU, OU, Baylor, they all come to Stillwater. Kansas State comes. I don't think the Cats are going to be that good, but OSU's got a really solid now. Now the non-conference for OSU, not great. Central Arkansas, Texas,
Dudesville,
San Antonio,
they
come to Boone Pickens Stadium. But that conference schedule, Oklahoma State's got a fabulous array of games. Yeah, I'm going OSU in this one as well. And I poked around to try to find something else to say that, you know, TCU might have it, somebody else might have it. No, there's not really anybody else that comes close to having the home schedule, especially those conference games. You forgot Kansas on the home schedule, Barry. How could you forget I did not the rock shot. I didn't forget the I did not forget the Jenny J. Hucks, although you're dressed appropriately to display their flag. All right. Let's get to this one, Barry. Best road trip. What Big 12 team has the best road trip this season? Well, there's actually two, I think, that are in contention. I'm going to go with Texas, though. Yeah. Texas goes to Notre Dame in the season opener, and anytime you go to South Bend, it's a special occasion. Just all the tradition, all the aroma, everything about South Bend and a college football Saturday is fantastic. Texas has been there before, but it's been, I think, 15 years. So Texas Notre Dame to kick off the college football season. Fabulous game. Longhorns, you're going to really enjoy that trip. Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the two. And the other one I would say is OU's trip to Knoxville to play Tennessee. You go into SEC country, obviously two storied programs. I don't think either Tennessee or Oklahoma will be at their, at the best
points in their program, but Tennessee obviously showed some signs of moving forward at the end of last year, a bowl game and such. So, you know, I think Tennessee's improving. I think it'll be a really good road test for the Sooners, and obviously the pageantry of Rocky Top and everything, which they didn't bring the band, Norman. I'm still a little bit sore about that. Very bogus. All right, Barry, lastly, Big 12's best game. What is the game of the year in the Big 12?
Well, it's crazy, and 5 years ago you could never get anybody to see this far ahead, but the two private schools are going to play the Big 12's most important game when Baylor goes to TCU. They're the co-champs from last season. They played that epic 61-58 game a year ago. They finished 3-4 in the rankings. This is an unbelievable matchup of the two private schools. Where have you gone? OU and Texas.
Yeah, definitely so. And that game, by the way, is a last weekend in November. It's going to be November 27th. They've already set a kickoff time. It's going to be prime time, 6:30. That tells you right there the TV already sees this as a huge game. Yeah, and it's Baylor TCU last year. Where was that in your rankings? I can't imagine it was top 20. Was it, Barry?
I can't remember, but it was, yeah, wasn't it the top? Baylor OU was number one last year.
Yeah, no, I mean, we all thought Baylor was going to be really good, but TCU clearly have come out of nowhere when it comes to being one of the best in the country. They were bringing in the spread offense a year ago. I think Gary Patterson was still a little bit unsure of his decision to bring in the spread, but it worked fabulously. Their defense has always been good. Now their offense is one of the best around. So I think it's going to be tough for both of these teams to get to that game undefeated. TCU, as we mentioned before, and Baylor both have to go to OSU. Could be trip-ups for them. But I think it's possible that's a game to get into the college football playoff. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.